Good morning, folks. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good day, whatever time it is for you. I hope you're well, and I hope you're not cold like me. Yeah, today, minus 14, with wind chill, minus 18, going to plus 2. Therein lays the migraine. Cheers, friends. Happy Monday. Like military intelligence, doesn't go together, but it is Monday. It's the beginning of another week and another chance to get ahead of your own pain and ahead of your life and grab a little bit of your own sanity back. That's the way I look at it, and that's the way I hope you can see it too. I woke up odd today, this time change. I mean, it's a little bit darker. It's an hour earlier that I'm out here doing this, even though it's at the same time. I find myself, hey, yay, I can sleep in to 7:30, but it's 6 or 6:30 in reality. I would like to see a world where we just stop doing this. There's no need for it anymore. Comment below. I'd love to know what you think about daylight savings time. I don't see it as helping. At winter time, we switch and all of a sudden it's super dark in the morning to try and save some later in the day. And I may have that reversed because I get so screwed up in my head what it's meant to do. I do know the history of it. I just think we don't need it anymore. I don't think it really did much then either. Time is relevant. Relative. Time is relative. That shows you, my morning friends. And, you know, this is what I'm here to talk about. Is I saw Joe Rogan yesterday with, I forget who the guy was. I'll link it below. They talked about, and Joe Rogan talked about it. It's Joe Rogan. He spoke about it many times, so the link might not be there. But how the importance of losing in life. It makes us better. It makes us stronger. It makes us more human. We need to go out of our way to find ways to set things up for our kids while they're growing up, to lose sometimes, but for you to be well aware of it. You know, I understand how some places went with participation trophies and stuff like that because losing is sad and it's awful to see a kid sad, and so let's just make everybody happy. But what happens there if you don't hit any diversity growing up? Warming my hands. If you don't hit any problems growing up, you are not growing up well, and you will hit problems, you will hit troubles when you're adult and no longer have all those other adults around whose sole purpose is to make life better for you. Most of the people, once you become adult, their sole purpose is their sole purpose. It has nothing to do with you. So there is not one time in my life where I lost, where I made a mistake, where someone else's failure caused me trouble. Diversity, trouble. We talk in today's world about how important it is to have diversity, to have yellow, red, and black and brown together with white, and I agree with that. That's why we also need diversity of thought and diversity of action. All action should not be positive because you can't do that. That's against E equals MC squared. For every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. Yin and yang. Everything equals out. So we can't make a society where everything is good and nobody is ever offended or hurt or loses or you know? And no matter what you say, we are an animal. Our duty, if we choose to take it, and we're lucky we get to choose to raise family, then we have to see our kids through the troubled times and steer them and help them, but create a situation where we can talk to them and they can let us know when they have lost. We need to be involved again in what's real, and that's our family, not what's around us. That's superficial, superfluous. I'm really cold this morning, folks, and so I'm not going to do it very long because there isn't too much. I don't like to lecture, and this almost seems like a lecture, and you know what? Do what you gotta do, what you gotta do. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm telling you how I feel and how I like these thoughts that we can share that uplift us and remind us how human we are. We have a human existence. Things will fail. We will lose people close to us. But for every single bad that has ever happened to me, good has come from it. And every time, let's look at the opposite. Every time something good showers down upon me, I look behind me and around me and prepare myself, not in a sad way, for something to equal that out, for something bad to come forward. Let's get back to reality, folks. Let's get back to reality. Let's stop hiding. Let's stop putting a fog in front of things that bother us. Let's face them. Let's face them down. They won't go away. Let's realize that. Let's realize that. You know, I went on a ride home from the grocery store yesterday. As we pulled up to a stop sign, a stoplight, there was two squeegee people there. And the taxi driver was shaking his head and saying, and actually this was before I saw the Joe Rogan, and it was kind of what I wrote it down as the taxi thing, and then I added the Joe Rogan show under my notes. But anyways, back to the taxi, and he was looking at those squeegee guys, and he says, I wish they'd make that illegal. And I says, why? He says, because those kids shouldn't be there. In fact, most of the time, these guys, they make really good money. They just come to make more money. And I says, so? He says, they're not learning what they need to learn to grow up. And I says, well, I'll argue that point, my friend, because if we had no squeegee guy, when you're driving along with your 8-year-old that's having a little trouble in school and starting to say, I hate school, and you can point to that squeegee guy and say, this is what happens if you don't go to school. You are thereby taking advantage of that squeegee guy. And that's what life is about. It's learning from the off and enjoying the on and realizing they both need to exist. Finding those things like squeegee guys. Well, you know what? If they're rich and they're squeegeeing anyway, then they're going to be even more rich. They got to spend that money somewhere. If they're getting into drugs, well, then they're going to learn the hard way. I told the guys this, to be very honest with you, when I was 14, 15, me and my friends used to panhandle outside a bar and then use that money to go buy weed. But I didn't grow into an awful, horrible person. Youth is about trying things, and hopefully, the kids that are squeegee kids, they have parents that don't even know where they are, if they have parents at all. So I think the main thing is, let's be parents and teach our kids to be parents, real good parents, and then just let the kids grow up and let them hit adversity and positivity and help them through each. Help them be a humble winner and a happy loser. And sometimes just participate, be a part of it. Congratulate the winner. Put your arm around the loser. Say, maybe next time. Friends, you know what time it is. Little known facts. I've got a couple. Remember, we're in the past. We're little known facts of history. When Marcus Crassus died, molten gold was poured down his throat. Marcus Lanus Crassus was known as the wealthiest man in Rome during his life. The son of a consul of Rome, Crassus fought in Sulla's civil war, played a key part in defeating Spartacus and ending the Third Servile War, and formed the first triumvirate with Julius Caesar and Pompey the Great. Shrewd man, throughout all he did, Crassus accumulated more and more wealth. Leading his troops in an ill-fated conquest of Parthia, which is modern-day Iran, Crassus and his forces were brutalized and bested by the Parthians, time and time again. After an unsuccessful parley for peace with the Parthian leaders, Crassus was killed, and they poured molten gold down his throat as a symbol of his thirst for wealth. Wow. And, my friends, Germany uncover 2,000 tons of exploded bombs every year. Over the course of World War II, the Allies dropped approximately 2.7 million tons of bombs over Nazi-occupied Europe, half of that which landed on Germany. Before any construction work can begin in Germany, the ground must undergo extensive surveys to look for unexploded ordnances, and sometimes they're discovered naturally. One example was from 2011, when 45,000 people were evacuated from their homes when a drought revealed a 4,000-pound blockbuster bomb lying on the bed of the Rhine River in the middle of Koblenz. My goodness, imagine that. All of a sudden you're being told to evacuate because not far from you is a bomb that's going to take the whole city out. Wow. Things you just never knew. That's why I call it that. Friends, I wish you a good day. Thank you for your participation in my life, and I hope I get to continue to participate in yours. Peace and cheers. Love and harmony.